Hi everyone, my name is Eric Schurter and I'm the product manager for the editor group here at GitLab, and I'm excited to share a little bit about what we have planned for the 15.2 milestone. As always, I'll link to our planning issue in the video description, and you can click through and see our milestone board and follow along all the issues that we're working on. But I'll highlight a few for you today, starting with pages. And one of our larger efforts as we've taken over the pages category is to improve the performance and reliability of the pages service. And we've identified an approach after a research spike in 15.1 for caching the internal API endpoints, and those events will each get cached independently, and we are working on iterating through those in 15.2. It'll likely take us into 15.3 and be behind a feature flag so we can measure the impact and make sure there's no unintended consequences, but in the next couple milestones, we should see a large improvement in API response time for pages. Moving over to the content editor, I just wanted to highlight a couple things. First off, this animated GIF here has an example of what we've been working on for the past 2 or 3 milestones, which is the preservation of unchanged Markdown. So you can see as it loops around that I'm working in raw Markdown, and I have a task list defined in 3 different Markdown syntaxes, and as I change and edit each one independently and then save the page and switch back to the source, the preference for the syntax is preserved, switching between the editors or after saving the file. And this is huge because as we move the content editor into more visibly version controlled scenarios, like into the web IDE or in any context where you might view the diff of a page, you will appreciate the lack of reformatting of the Markdown even more, because your diffs will be a lot more focused on the content that has actually changed. This is a huge step and something that we have been working really hard towards so that we can refine the content editors and its application across GitLab. So very excited about that. There are a few more node types, like this is for checklist items, and this was actually completed in 15.1. We'll be focused on a handful of others related to GitLab flavored Markdown in 15.2. This will likely carry into 15.3 or 15.4 before it's turned on and by default for everyone. It is behind a feature flag if you happen to be on self-managed and want to play with it, but it's not really something that we're calling production ready yet. Similarly, on the content editor, we have an effort to explore a sort of a research spike that will help us inform our direction for autocomplete suggestions and other input that requires like a selection UI to show up, a picker. For example, app mentions or issue references. Emojis are another good example. So we're going to look into how we can extend the content editor to support that kind of workflow. And that'll get us one step closer to using it in issues and epics and comments and elsewhere around GitLab. But slash commands and other autocomplete in the context of wiki is another huge benefit there. So we're really excited about that effort, and hopefully have some progress in 15.2. But the majority of our time will be spent continuing to work through the replacing of the web IDE with VS Code. And this I've talked about a couple times already, but we are taking the Monaco-based web IDE and replacing it with the VS Code project and an instance that's running in the browser. This doesn't require any infrastructure on GitLab's behalf or on your behalf as a user of the web IDE. It runs fully in the browser, and we were doing some spikes on building out a custom Git module for the VS Code in the browser in 15.2, and we've identified a path forward with a virtual file system that we can use. So we'll be executing on that in 15.2, and moving through our list in this epic to build out the functionality so that it's ready for some initial beta testing in the coming milestones. That's about all I wanted to highlight. So again, take a look at our planning issue, and we will have more to share next month. Thank you very much.